we just had a sterling speech by Julian Assange. I'm one of his small group of, well, I'd say that. There's millions of people who are supporters. But we've maintained a vigil here for the last eight weeks. And I'm very grateful that Bradley Manning was mentioned. His incarceration has been a disgrace. I've got my friend Tongore here. He can talk about Bradley as well. We've got some media dirtbags around too. That's all right. No offense. No offense. But I just wanted to say that you know, the more we can do for Bradley. And so, what are you going to say to him?
Yeah, we need to support Bradley Manning for his immediate and unconditional release. This young man has been persecuted by the United States government, a government that claims to be democratic, a government that claims to be guided by the rule of law. Yet this government has jailed more citizens of its country than any other country in the world. This is the government that has more people on death row than any other countries in the world. This is the country that seeks to spread its notion of hypocrisy, what is called democracy, around the world. And the persecution of Bradley Manning, of Mumia Jamal, of Julian Assange, and many more goes to show that there's nothing called democracy. It is known as hypocrisy, absolute hypocrisy. And we are appealing upon all the people of the world to unite in defeat the design of the United States government and the British government itself, because the attempt to invade the Ecuadorian embassy is an outrage, is a violation of the Geneva Convention, of the convention that guarantees the inviolability of that country's embassy. But yet, because of its imperialistic nature, it thinks it can ride roughshod over the people of the world as it did in the past.
Here, 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 here.
So victory to everyone.
And what would you like to see? I mean,
I only want to add to this. I only want to add to this, is that, you know, it shows that that the USA's hand in all of this, with the UK wanting to fritter or burn away whatever little is left of its good name around the world, setting up an ad hoc police station on the inside of or very close to the Ecuadorian embassy as an intimidation to try to invoke a rare 1987 legislation to run roughshod over international legislation. It shows a lack of respect for the Ecuadorian people. This, I'll tell you, I've had a lot of dealings with the U.S. as well as other embassies, and they're just awful business. They're just awful. But the Ecuadorian embassy does a lot for its people. It has outreach to the Ecuadorian community to make sure their well-being. We get nothing like that, and I think that Ecuador has done a sterling job. And by the way, Ecuador government, the government of Korea, is not a radical government by any stretch of the imagination, but it actually shows how radical the U.S. has become. It shows how radical all of the reactionary forces have become. And I got to say that Bradley Manning could not have been sentenced to the torture he has endured over the last 2 years. And he has endured that for all of our benefit. He is the accused releaser of war crimes information. The war crimes that have been released, none of which have been top secret. There's a small percentage that are classified, but that documentation was accessible to 3.5 million people. It's things that are typically released by the press department and the FBI. And he has no prospect of facing an open trial, an open fair trial. It was mentioned by Mr. Assange on the stage. No prospect. He's facing a tribunal. In fact,
the U.S. government and Barack Obama has condemned, he has stated that this young man is guilty. And he is a lawyer by profession. He should have known that a man is supposed to be a person, supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But the situation is now is that Bradley Manning is guilty and he must prove his innocence. That shows us completely the notion of presumption of innocence.
I just want to say that this is not only our opinion, but it is the opinion of 300 of the top congressional scholars in the United States. The first of which being Lawrence Tribe, who is the Harvard academic who trained Barack Obama. He calls himself the constitutional president. He has invoked the 1917 Espionage Act 26 times. 26 times in the 3 years that he's been. That legislation has only been invoked 7 times since its creation in 1917. And he's actually overturned a judge's decision on NDAA, which allows people to be indefinitely captured. If we do not act now, I would have to agree. I would have to agree with Mr. Assange, and he says that we must, in the United States, return to our revolutionary roots, or we're going to be going on a mudslide, which is taking everybody with them. Yeah. It's taking the UK with them. The UK people, they're here. They're saying they don't want it. Ecuadorian people, they're here. They're saying they don't want it. Why are the police storming the embassy? Why are the police invading sovereign Ecuadorian territory? This is a disgrace. Yes, it's disgusting. Disgusting.
Absolutely. Without doubt.
William Hague, a student of history, should take note that a very famous, great, brave, late Swedish diplomat, Raoul Wallenberg, issued thousands of passes to Jews fleeing Nazi-occupied Hungary and designated numerous buildings as Swedish legations and not even Nazis. The Nazi Germans didn't dare invade any of those sovereign territories, and yet boy Hague threatens this embassy here. How dare he?
Yes, indeed.
Even the Germans, even the Nazi Germans respected Swedish legations in German-occupied Hungary. So why can't William Hague respect Ecuadorian territory? He who claims to drink 14 pints of beer a day in his youth should go back to drinking his beer.